Super Bowl champion tight end Ben Watson said that during his 15 seasons in the NFL, he definitely had plenty of racist teammates. He also spoke on how individual people can learn and move on. Take a listen.
I have plenty of racist teammates.
You had plenty of racist teammates?
Of course. Racism is, again, it's in how we frame racism. You know, because the KKK and people that say the N-word at you, that's easy to see. But that's not really the issue. The real racism is the one who's in the living room with his kids watching a show or talking about something in the news, and he's saying things that when I talk to the kid who's grown now, said, yeah, man, my father used to say this, that, and the other. Mm-hmm. So it's not necessarily a teammate I see that tells me he's racist. That's not happening. But of course, we encounter racists every day.
All right, Shannon, what is your reaction to what Ben had to say?
I'm not surprised. Skip, I can honestly say now, when I was in Baltimore, let me start backwards. When I went to Baltimore, Skip, I don't remember a white guy on the defense. There were very few white guys. I mean, that was the blackest team I've ever been a part of. So I don't recall.
2000
in 2002, I played 2000, 2001 with the Ravens. So I don't recall really anything of that nature that would set off my antenna. Now, when I was in Denver, the offensive lineman, you know what they used to call me, Skip? Shannon Sharpe. In reference to Reverend Al Sharpton. So you know, Skip, they were on alert what to say and how to say it around me, because they always swore I was a troublemaker, just looking to cause trouble, because that's what a lot of people.
Did you take them to task occasionally?
I would, you know, Skip. I would just, you know, there are certain things that I saw. I mean, it wasn't like race. They wouldn't, you know, but they just knew. I think they knew, like, he's from the South. He's on a different vibe. So all that funny stuff. Be careful. You know, make sure you say a certain thing. All that, you know, that black this and how you saying it. If you saying it, trying to say it in a derogatory way, trying to be slick with it. I just need to know. So, but for me, Skip, maybe I think there are two that I might have thought had some, you know, some racism, like Ben said. They're not gonna come out and say it, not in the locker room. They would never say that. I mean, I've never heard the N-word uttered on the football field. I've never heard anything that would make me say, man, don't make me slap the, you know what I Colonel telling me, make me slap you in your mouth. I've never heard that, Skip. But Ben is right. There's subtle ways that they say certain things, and you might give a, well, I ain't mean it like that. But you know, how the hell you mean it? So you have to be careful, Skip. But I've been very fortunate. I think for me is that being a black and fairly early on, Skip, I was even though I wasn't a leader per se, Skip, I've always had a voice. I've always voiced my opinion. And I was very strong, and I wasn't afraid to be the dissenting voice on something. And once I got to like year 4, you know, I was like, okay, I got my identity. And it didn't matter. If I didn't see something, if I didn't think something was right. But Skip, I think what Ben is saying, we got to stop this notion, well, they don't carry the Confederate flag, or they're not a member of the KKK, or they don't say the N-word. It's sometimes it's subconscious bias, Skip, that I was having a conversation with a white lady, a friend of mine, and she was explaining, said, well, Shannon, I got this black friend, and, you know, we've been friends for like 7 years. She's married. I'm like, wait a minute. I've never heard you explain any of your white friends as being married. Why would you mention that? Is it black people not supposed to get married? Or they're not supposed to stay married? I say, see, subconsciously, you didn't even know you were doing it. I say, because you've never described any of your white friends to me in that manner. So, Skip, it's sometimes they don't even know it because they've done it so much. And they do it around people that they do it also, so you don't know. It's kind of like, Skip, growing up like I grew up. I didn't know that you were supposed to have indoor plumbing because everybody that I knew didn't have indoor plumbing. So that was normal. So when you're around someone and they talk exactly like you think it's normal. So that, I believe that's what Ben now, and like, I can't speak to Ben because like I said, Ben came in, I think my last year was Ben's first year. So he been in, and see now, Skip, you know what they're doing. Okay, he played in New England, he played in New Orleans, he played at Baltimore. They're trying to go back and trace who could he possibly be talking about? You know that's what they do, Skip. And you know people, the media in those locales, that's what they're trying to do. But he's right, it's hard for you. If a locker room is a microcosm of society, and there's racism in society, how did it not seep into the locker room?
Okay. So, for those who don't know Benjamin Watson, he grew up in Rock Hill, South Carolina. He originally went to Duke, transferred to school you know very well, University of Georgia, drafted late in the first round by Bill Belichick, in part because he scored the third highest Wonderlic test on record to date, to that date. And again, the Wonderlic has become very controversial because so many quarterbacks, black or white quarterbacks, have scored so low, and it's like, well, can they handle it?
Yes.
Well, it doesn't really indicate your ability to process football information.
That is correct.
Yeah. So Ben Watson also, at 260 pounds, ran 4.5. So he had the whole package.
Oh, yeah.
And he did, with the help of Tom Brady, obviously, he won the Donovan McNabb Philadelphia Super Bowl. So he got a ring with Tom Brady. Yeah. Then he went on to other stops around the league.
That was like his first year, wasn't it, Skip? That
Second
was
year.
Second year? Okay.
Yeah. And then in 2015, Benjamin Watson wrote a book called Under Our Skin, Getting Real About Race and Getting Free from the Fears and Frustrations that Divide Us All. Okay. Love that. But I love even more, he's done many interviews, and I saw another interview that he did this morning in which he was talking about overt and covert racism in the locker room. He said there's inward KKK kind of racism, wear it on your sleeve kind of racism, where you just know.
Well, that's blatant, that's open.
Yes, but there's subtle, and you were referring to more subtle.
Right.
Huh?
Yeah.
Looking side-eye, like what?
Exactly.
What did you mean by that? And Benjamin said he would call that out on occasion in a nice way, because he's a nice man.
Right.
But he's a tough man.
Right.
And a smart man. So he's talking about it's now time for white America to think about any workplace has all these same issues operating. Seriously, you know it and I know it.
Right.
Every workplace has some forms of racism that are allowed to continue and sort of persist because of, as he talked about, you're allowing it to happen because of your silence in your workplace. You need to call it out. You need to challenge it in productive ways.
Right.
And he said, America is now looking in the mirror. Is it?
Very much.
And he said, it's looking in the mirror because you turn on TV and you see so many people out protesting. And he said, they're not out there to get fresh air.
Hey, you know who he's talking about, looking in the mirror? The white America is looking in the mirror and they see themselves out there like, what is this? That's us.
That's us. That's younger us.
Yes, anyway. Yes.
And I told you from day one, I'm looking at the protests. Most of them I'm seeing in Southern California on local TV. And I told you, Shannon, I think last night at the one in downtown LA, looked to my eye like there were more white, they're younger, they're white kids more, but I saw more white kids than I saw black protesters. Now that's a new day.
Right.
That's a new that's a new way, because you now have the undivided attention because of what happened on Memorial Day in Minneapolis of white America and all colors. I don't want to make it just white, but when we boil down racial conflict in America, it's black, white, right? For the most part. So he's saying to white America, you have to look in the mirror. And he concluded in the interview I saw this morning, Benjamin did, a fool looks in the mirror and walks away unchanged. And right now, America can't be foolish.
Right.
It's time. The door is open. And he's just trying to say, just look in the mirror and then look around your workplace and don't allow that or that. These are sort of covert, little they're subtle forms of racism can't be allowed to exist anymore.
Skip, I remember I asked a white teammate of mine, I said, man, you going to the cafeteria? You going to the, he's like, yeah. I said, bring me some fruit back. I was just scared. I got to test him. You know, I got to test him every once in a while.
Was he a rookie or?
No, he was like a second, third year player.
Okay.
And he brought me a piece of fruit back. But he didn't bring me one of those forbidden fruits. Because he knew.
Ooh.
He knew. Don't play with me. If I ask you for something, don't say you want a banana. I'm gonna go. All right. I'm gonna go off. Don't say.
Were you testing?
I was.
Okay.
I was. I just wanted to see something. Skip, we got to see. Sometimes you got to lay traps and see who gonna step in it. Just want to know.
Like DeMarcus Cousins did to Grant Napier, the longtime radio voice in Sacramento.
He passed with flying colors.
Yep.
I said, man, how you know I wanted this? He looked me dead in my eye. He said, I'm no dummy.
Like it.
I like it too,
Good
Skip.
for you.
But there's, like I said, like Ben made it clear, like nobody is foolish enough to be white and to say, yeah, I'm in the KKK or call somebody. It might have happened back in the early beginning, Skip, when they first integrated, but there's no way in hell you would find somebody to say that. Now, Rich Incognito, I don't know what kind of locker room they had, Skip, to let that fly. I don't know what.
It's a good point.
I don't know what kind of locker room they had to let that fly. That'd never flow in the locker room that Shannon Sharpe was in. No. Never, ever, ever. And
or that Ray Lewis was in.
No. He had to go. Well, they just drug him out. Man, there ain't no sense inside because you just go upside the head with a 20-pound plate, and that'll be the end of that. We don't play that stuff. But like I said, the locker rooms are a microcosm of society, and it's hard to say, well, it exists out there, but not in here. And that's what got Coach Fangio for the Broncos in trouble. How you gonna say that when you just saw like 3-4 years, like